money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. You don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. It's money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. It's money's what I'm talking about. Money, make you shut your mouth. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say, stay up out of my way. Money, make you shut them off. Keep playing with this goonies, boy, I'm gonna have to make the call. Stay in bounds on your pivot, boy, if you gon' ball. Cause a lot of niggas be fake, and you really can't play. Cause we done got it out the mud.
What's going on, people? CP3, live from At The Bar Radio, before At The Bar tonight at 6 o'clock. So I thought I'd come on after this, another winnable game that this team found a way to lose. Unfortunately, I had a bad feeling when Scott Turner was deciding to continue to run the ball in the fourth quarter. To pass the ball in the fourth quarter with the lead, with like 10 minutes left. I was confused. Why take the chance in doing that? And unfortunately, pressure got to the Taylor. Ball sailed, interception. They drive down kind of like the Commanders did last weekend. Controlled the ball for the rest of the clock, scored the game-winning score, and right off to the sunset in somebody else's stadium. And to make it even worse, it was Kirk Cousins that got the ride off into the sunset after the victory, after collecting those big paychecks year and year and year with no intention of staying here. So to me, this one stings a little bit more because, for one, like I said, it could have been 5-4. The end of your 3-game winning streak is now over because of, in my opinion, I'm not going to, say this is fact, but some of the flaws in Scott Turner's play calling and game situation awareness, as the commentator was speaking about during the broadcast. I cannot disagree with him on that at all, because there are times where the light bulb is on and he gets it and he's, running the ball, sticking to it. He's setting up his plays. He's being an offensive coordinator. And then we get sometimes where he just reminds me of Jay Gruden 2.0, where he wants to win the way he wants to win. And if it's not that way, then, oh, well, he's going down with the ship. That's cool. But it's not cool, because now you're wasting all the talent that this team has and finding ways to lose games that this team had a firm grip on with a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. Minnesota goes down, puts up 3. All we had to do is get a sustained drive. Screens, run the ball, mix it up. You had the great play call to the Marty Rogers on the screen. There's stuff like that that shows you the potential that he has, but then he reverts back to 3rd and 1, going in shotgun, and then 4th and 1, you under center throwing the ball. That's bass backwards, man. You wiping your ass before you shit. It don't make sense. And it cost this team in this game. And I would like for one of these reporters to ask those questions in the post game or during the week, but they don't. And that's the stuff that I want to know, that I need to know, because to me, the Philly game, the Cowboys game, and now especially this game, were all winnable games with a better game plan and sticking with the run and game situation awareness. So, that 3rd and 1 shotgun, last week you heard me talk about it, and that was in the win, so I don't even want to talk about it this week because I might go off the rails, because when you continue to see the same thing and you're expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. And I know I'm a little crazy, but I damn sure ain't insane. I ain't got the insurance for that yet. My insurance ain't kicked in yet. So, I was going through the game and taking little notes and highlighting some of the things that I saw that caused me issues and that I liked that I saw. It's the first time I really tried to do that. I tried to give a broad scope, but with this Turner situation, it's really starting to come to a head, in my opinion, because this team has too much talent to be under 500, 4-5 right now. And remember, you're missing Dotson. You still haven't got Chase Young on the field for one snap. So, I mean, the talent is there. It's just about coaching, game planning, play calling, and preparation. And I feel like they're checking most of the boxes. Guess when? I guess they're not checking the boxes. Play calling. You always also got to take your head off Jack Del Rio. Last 5 weeks, his defensive game plans have been pretty effective. And you got to give a shout out to the D-line. Nobody's really talking about how well they're playing. Last year, going straight 4 up. Now we see 4 and 5 down linemen getting the job done, man on man. Last year we didn't see that. So Scott Turner, in my opinion, is hurting the progress of this team by the ineptitude of his play calling sometimes. This one is frustrating because, like I said, for one, I didn't want to lose to Kurt. And when they had the 10-point lead, we're getting pressure on him, and we saw him pressing. And, he threw the one interception, the pick six. I know, shouldn't have been pass interference, but illegal contact. Was a lot of hand fighting before the ball was in the air. St. Juice was a physical corner in college, and using his hands was one of the things that got him in trouble. So he made a mental mistake, got a little bit too much hand fighting. Unfortunately, they called it, and they gave it a pick six that would have definitely put a stranglehold on that game. Would have had been 23 to 24 to 7. And, lights would have pretty much been out. So, yeah, that one did hurt. That fourth down, on the field goal attempt, when the player went over the center, which is a legit rule, that's legit. Patrick says Rivera's a terrible coach. You have to qualify that in some. We speak in factual here. We don't speak in opinion. So if you have an opinion, back it up with a fact. Why do you think he's a terrible coach? I mean, he has some flaws like everyone else. I spoke about it a few weeks ago when they won a 3-game losing streak. I felt like, maybe the bout with cancer might have taken some of it out of him because I don't see the same fiery coach, that I saw in Carolina. When he was young, I think of all the traumatic stuff, especially with just losing his mom. Might play a role in it, but specify what you mean he's a terrible coach, because I definitely disagree with that, especially from where this team came from and where they're building towards. A lot of folks have a short memory about, the talent level, the aging roster, the, mistakes that was being made on the field week in and week out, special teams. At least now we're seeing progress. You still see mistakes, but you don't see them as often. And you can say that on the 3-game winning streak. The explosive plays that was plaguing them on the 3-game losing streak, they pretty much wiped those out on the 3-game winning streak. They had a few today. Jefferson, he's a monster. What can you do? He had 115 yards and a touchdown on 7 catches on 13 targets. So all in all, some folks just going to get theirs. And, yeah, there's a few plays that he got the best of St. Juice and a few plays that he got the best. But I look at it, he had 7 catches for the whole game, but he had 5 on what? In the first quarter. So it's all on how you look at it and how it all falls out in the end of it all. And this one falls as a loss for the Commanders. Let's see what else. Oh, that Curtis Samuel touchdown. That was a crazy play. Taylor Heineke, no matter what you say about him, he might make some ill-advised throws, but he does have some luck on his side. Because if you remember last year against the Saints when he, threw it up to Terry in double coverage in the back of the end zone, and Terry came back and got the ball. This one was triple coverage, surrounded. Samuels tracked the ball beautifully, comes down with it in between 3 defenders, and then rolls into the end zone for the last yard and a half because no one touched him. Now, those are the plays that get the crowd hyped, that get the legend of Taylor Heineke going. But then on that interception, when you had a running back open in the flat for a 5-6 yard gain, you go to Logan Thomas, who's 6'5", overthrow him. It's a game-changing interception, which gives them the momentum and, unfortunately, the winning score. So you got to take the good with the bad with Heineke. You know, I'm not going to put it all on him. As I mentioned, the play calling. Why would you have him throwing the ball? 2nd and 11, fourth quarter, 10 minutes left. Shovel pass, jet sweep. Gave the ball to Samuel early in the game. He got a, what was it, a 23-yard gain on the rush that he had up the middle. Why do you go away from what works? You see it one time and don't see it again. Like they say, if you make the other team stop it if you're successful at it. He just stops doing things, and that kills me because he has a thought process of what he wants to do and how he wants to win the game instead of just taking how the game is coming to you and adjusting off of that. And to me, I think that's the bigger issue, in my opinion, with Scott Turner. You got to talk about the piggyback on that with the flawed game plan. I mean, like I say, you see some of the plays sprinkled in, and then what was the flea flicker after they got the first down, fortunately, on the 3rd down play, and then you come back with a flea flicker the next play. I don't understand when you're struggling and you're trying to get the offensive in a rhythm, and the offense was in a rhythm, and then you turn around and try to do some trickery to try to catch the other team sleeping instead of just continuing playing football, what you're doing, what you're being successful at that point in the game. So, I don't know. And with Philly next week sitting at 8-0, extra day rest, extra week rest since they played on Thursday. This is going to be an uphill battle, and they made moves at the trade deadline to get better. So if Scott doesn't get it together and definitely run the ball to keep their offense off the field, I'm not really too scared. The first game, it was out of hand early because the offense started out slow. The defense pretty much held them in check for the first quarter and a half. Then, eventually they started clicking. And we can't afford another slow start. That was one of my keys to victory I put out this morning. Got to start faster. This game was a defensive battle. It was 7-0 going into, the second quarter until right before halftime when they got the field goal. Then they come out at the second half with that great drive after, can't even say a great drive, after that great pass, after Antonio Gibson returns the ball over 40 yards on the kickoff return. So they had the spark, which we've seen this team sometimes have an issue getting going out of the second half in the third quarter. And they had the spark, took the lead, had a few opportunities in that 4th down that coach took. I was thinking take the points because it was still early. But he went for the 4th down, I guess trusting in Scott would call the right play, and we see how that turned out. Those 3 points in the game. Remember, they walked away with nothing on that drive. I'm not just going to be negative. Like I said, this one stings. It stings because, like I said, I wanted this one especially against Kurt. You guys know how I feel about Kurt. And all right, Patrick. So no elaboration of why he's a terrible coach. So I'll just move on. Stay with the guy. All right. Let's see. Fix that. Go back to that. All right. Let's look at some of the stats from this game. I'm not going to be on too long. I got to prep for the At the Bar show, and about to fix me another plate after I just finished grilling after watching that nail-biting game. It's kind of hard to eat and watch a game like that. Kirk Cousins, 22 for 40, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 81.8 quarterback rating. Taylor Heineke, 15 for 28, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 77.8 quarterback rating. Dalvin Cook, 17 yards, 17 carries, 47 yards, 2.8 yard average. Richardson, 13 carries, 44 yards, 3.4-yard average. Neither one had a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, who I mentioned, 7 catches, 115 yards, 16.4-yard average, 1 touchdown. Curtis Samuel, 3 catches, 65 yards, 21.9-yard average with 1 touchdown. Like I mentioned, he was, when he got the chance to get the ball in his hand in the running game, he was effective. They have plenty of ways to get the ball, to run the ball in the NFL when you want to. And we're clearly seeing that Scott doesn't want to. I mean, the balance, the numbers were, matter of fact, that's why I always check the balance of the play calling. When I looked at it before, he was definitely showed some balance. Heineke threw the ball for 28 times. We ran the ball, 24, 25, 26, 30. 30 times he ran the ball 28, but at half, he had ran the ball 22 times. So in the second half, he only ran the ball 8 times. That's not a good combination. It's not a good mix. Third quarter was pretty much a wash for both teams, besides the Commanders scoring on that drive right out of half after Antonio Gibson's great kickoff return. But third quarter was pretty much quiet. Fourth quarter was pretty much quiet until the last 10 minutes when unfortunate turnover occurred. Team stats. And he threw away my paper. Damn it, with my numbers on it. Damn it, Renegade. First downs. Vikings had 17, Commanders had 18. Third down conversions. Washington was 3 for 10. Vikings were 7 for 16, which is a vast jump from last week against Green Bay the week before against Green Bay when they were 0-6, and the week before when they held them under 40%. Rush yards, 137 for the Commanders, 56 for the Vikings. Pass yards, 126 for the Commanders, 245 for the Vikes, 301 total for the Vikes, 263 for the Commanders. 3 penalties for 26 yards by the Commanders, which is an improvement. But I mentioned that pick 6, that one really hurt. And Minnesota was 5 for 42 yards. Time of possession was 30 minutes and 47 seconds for the Commanders and 29 minutes and 13 seconds. 50-50, just about. Now imagine if Scott would have stuck with the run and we could have won that battle like we did last week when we had the ball with 13 more minutes than they did. This is basic football 101. And I'm not understanding, one, how is coach allowing him to get away with this? Terrible play calling. 2, when is someone going to step in and say something to him? Because the 3rd and 1 shotgun, I don't know how many times I've said something about that. It reminds me of Jay Gruden with his 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 1 running back set that he loved so much, but we didn't have the wide receivers that we have now to be effective in that set. But because he liked that set, he decides to play out of it a lot. So I'm guessing Scott enjoys the shotgun because 3rd and 1, he should be under center. But then to come back on 4th and 1 and to go under center and then try to pass the ball, not even off a play action, makes no sense to me. And those are some of the questions I want to ask when I get in that room. Let's see. What's up, Mark? Said Heineke cost us the game. He will tell you that. It is what it is. Still love him, though. That's my quarterback. Yeah, it was a combination. I can't really say that he caused. Interception definitely, cost us the game, cost us the possession, and led to the score. But, he played a pretty decent game. Like I said, to me, the play calling was just too much, too inconsistent. 91 was like, that penalty on the field goal. 'Cause I was looking at it one time out, minute 52, you can get a game time field goal, or if Heineke can make his magic and do like last week and go down for a game winning touchdown drive. Fortunately, that penalty, they got to ride the clock out like we did last week and found a way to win. They 7-1 for a reason. They've been finding ways to win all year. And I can't knock them. even though, like I said, I didn't want Kurt to win. Yeah, Allison, I agree. That's why I tweeted out, posted out. Why would you be throwing the ball fourth quarter up, 2nd and 11? Could have caught a screen, shovel pass, jet sweep, anything. But no. Let's see. Yeah, would have had a chance to redeem himself tonight. He wouldn't have had to make that bonehead mistake. Yeah, but like I said, you got to take the good with the bad. The last 3 weeks, the special teams have been making plays, returning, getting muff fumbles, and Gibson had the quality return on a kickoff that led to the game taking the lead in the third quarter. So unfortunately, the one bad play, the bad play on special teams helped determine the outcome, as opposed to the last 3 weeks when it helped determine a positive outcome. So we got to take the good with the bad. Unfortunately, it did lead to Heineke not getting a chance to come out there to try to see if he can tie the game, force overtime, or possibly win the game and continue this winning streak. But we can always talk in hypotheticals of what could have happened and what should have happened. But unfortunately, that's the way the game ended. Yeah, it just sucks. All right, thanks, Robbie, for sharing. I just shared to a couple of groups too. Yeah, I'm about to get off in a little while. We got some interesting games. Renegade threw away my spreadsheet when I had all the games that I picked last night on First String Podcast. If you want to check that out, it's on my YouTube channel, Carol Porter III with 3 eyes, not the number 3. Had a great 2-hour show. We covered all the games that's going on right now. I was going to check my spreads to see if I covered, because I might do some parlay betting, anything to help get some money and get some income coming in and money in my pockets is a good thing. Yeah, Mark, hopefully we can upset Philly. I mean, it was like I said, the score wasn't close, but to me it was a closer game than the score led to, because the offense stalled out. The defense was holding Philly pretty much in check. And, unfortunately, they were, they're a good team, and they found a way to score and win the game. So on that note, I'm about to get up out of here, watch these games, eat some grub, crack me another brew before At the Bar in another hour. Tune in. I'll probably talk a little bit more sports. Might even see if I can squeeze in some fantasy football. Matter of fact, I got to check my score to see where I'm sitting at. Had a crazy week. And be sure to check out Sports on the Hill tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. Robbie G and the panel will be on discussing this game in more detail, talking Wizards basketball. I'm not sure if they're going to cover any of the World Series results, but go Stros. I'm glad that, and congrats to Dusty Baker, because I couldn't stand for Philly to have another title. I just don't, I still ain't over the Super Bowl win and all the way their fans feel about that. So I couldn't stand another championship coming to their city. All right, Mark. It's the same to you. Have a great night. Take it easy. And always next week, Philly. Stay tuned for more. I'm going to try to do a highlight video of some of the plays. There were some of the highlights, even though it's a loss. I haven't been able to do a lot of videos, but I'm going to try to get to it. So be on the lookout and stay tuned. DC Sports Other Politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. CP3. Live from At the Bar, and I'm out.